Hey, we ain't doing no introduction. We ain't doing no introduction to the show, but actually this is episode 2 of As Sheila Says Inquisition Newark, where we ask Newark a question. Okay, we're gonna just cut right to the chase. What's going on with all this cooning and buffooning that's going on? Nah, we're gonna be nice. We're gonna start the show off nice. I
Okay.
got me a trail mix I'm eating. I got my water. We're gonna start the show off nice. Muta,
Yes, sir. How are you, brother?
I want you to let the audience know you did a video this week, and a lot of times when we do shows, we have people like yourself, Sheila, and others that don't particularly talk about what they're doing. Let everybody know what you're doing with giving out this water, and where did birth from and everything. Then we go from there.
All right. So Sheila could have started that.
Oh,
Yeah, because I kind of came in late. I partner in with the North Water Coalition now. But the birth of the North Water Coalition was birthed through the activism of Sheila Montague, Miss Bumani, Donna Jackson, Anthony Diaz, and a bunch of people who came together during the North Water crisis. To put fire up under our political officials' asses so that North could get clean water and could get their lead pipes mitigated. So on the back end of that, while I was performing social experiment, Alkaline Express, I ended up meeting Anthony Diaz, who is now the director of North Water Coalition, and continued the mission. So through that, on a weekly, on 5 days out of the week, we serve water to North. Comes in. We're at 373 South Orange Avenue, Newark, New Jersey. We're at 373 South Orange Avenue, Newark, New Jersey, Newark Water Coalition, Tuesday through Saturday. We do water distributions on Fridays at 1 p.m. We do a food distribution. If anybody has any clothes that they would like to donate, we do distribute clothes and other perishables to the community as well.
great. That's good. That's good stuff, man. And one of the things why I always say that, when you have boots on the ground, you have people that's there, you have people that's telling you and sharing real time information. And I know Sheila is like,
I'm the mayor.
Sheila will say she's the governor. We're gonna give her a new title. She's the governor. Like, um, Sheila had did a video earlier this week, and I put it on the channel actually in reference to the water. And the mayor has went around and said that the water was fixed, and then a year later, I know it was a separate independent investigation saying that the company that was used was doing something to the books. Somebody tried to refute it, and I said, "Hold up! I knew that Sheila was telling the truth, and I knew I had saw that the company that claimed to have been fixing the water did something with the books." And one thing that we got to understand, because I have a friend that I'm very close with who works for New Jersey, works for American Water. Newark has their own water system that's different from American Water. Like a lot of municipalities have their own water system. I have American Water. The municipality I live in does not have their own water system. And I think a lot of times people get confused because I could call American Water, get pipes fixed, certain things like that.
Yeah.
And you have it when when you live in a municipality, you're basically at the mercy and bureaucracy of that municipality. I know, Sheila, you've been very, very vocal on the smell of the water, the taste. Sometimes you run your water faucet and it smells like rotten eggs.
So there's this is a multifaceted issue that has actually impacted a lot of different, you know, parts. It's a lot of different moving parts. For example, I shared with you before that, you know, I'm the president of my community block association. So we have, you know, issues of environmental racism going on where we have people that are not from this country, but they're here now. They have open mechanic shops and they have been cutting costs and cutting corners in terms of how they get rid of their waste and oil. So they've been putting it down the drain like you would do anything else, and that's not supposed to happen. Someone is supposed to be paid, a company is supposed to be, you know, paid to come out to actually, you know, take the old oil or whatever. But since they're not doing that, this oil has consistently for several years now clogged up the systems. Everybody knows we have very antiquated piping system here, right? That's already under pressure because of age. But then you add all the toxins and lead and just, you know, not being governed over properly, right? Not having the people with the proper IQ to deal with the situation. So, of course, after over a decade, it has compiled to the worst situation that it already was. So you have that situation in terms of a facet of the water. And then you have, because I'm an educator, right? The impact on children, right? Lead affects the frontal lobe of the brain. So it's the part that causes anger and aggression, right? So you got the educational component, and you're dealing with a situation where 4 out of 5 kids are not able to pass a basic skills test, right? So that's the facet of it. But then when you take that same anger and aggression within the school district that has a budget of $1.5 billion, but you see the money is being spent on lavish trips and parties and meals and you know, just things that don't trickle down to actually helping the kids, making sure that they learn and get what they need. These children stay children for a very short window of their lifespan. They matriculate into the community as citizens who, if they have been, you know, a product falling prey to this lead water, guess what? Now they're in the community, and usually in their teen years, because by this time they've dropped out of school once they get in high school with those same issues of anger and aggression that they can't deal with. They don't know how to deal with. They don't know anything about counseling. In many instances, they come from families who are very, you know, stressed financially, economically. So they come into a community where they're basically trying to help each other, and it's the blind, you know, leading the blind. And this is how our gang population grows. This is how we end up making bad choices. And then we end up with the other aspect, right, of being in prison. So we see not only the incarceration rate still rising for men, but it's becoming also increasingly large with women, right, in our community, because the women aren't being educated. They don't have the tools, right, to even get jobs that would be like refrigeration and anything dealing with the trades like hair. That was in schools. When I was in Shabazz, I took shop. We had home ec. We don't have those things now. The kids can't even get a license in the school. Like when I was in school, you took health class, and I think 11th or 12th or 11th or 12th grade, you had like driver's ed where you could take and get your permit. So you see that the water is a facet that impacts other facets. And so when people say things like, oh, well, Sheila Montague, she's running for everything, and then these comments are like crazy, yeah, because everything is connected, right? And so then you'll have people who say, yeah, well, what does education have to do with this? Well, I don't have anything to do with this politics. But when you can't get a job, right, it's the political climate that plays a factor, if not the major factor, to those situations, because it's, everything I just named is politics, politics, politics. So if people are not being involved, that's where the issues occur. And just to close that, to say, I just left the meeting. And the meeting was about the workforce. Now, honestly, this has been an arena that I haven't immersed myself into, as of, now tonight, because I've been, my platform is usually, pertaining to education, housing, because the families need somewhere to live, water, all of the above. But this is an area I hadn't really, delved into. But I have been an advocate for, having our young men in the community, especially see their faces on all of the development that's going on here, because that's not the case right now. And it was very disheartening to go into a meeting. And from what I heard, this was the third meeting. I heard about the meeting 30 minutes prior to it start. So was, how is the information being disseminated out to the community? They said it was only for really the members of the board. Okay, so let's just say that that's the case, right? There's no agenda. The person who hosts the meeting, she came in 30 minutes late. And so she said, well, Ms. Montague, fairly enough, things happen. This is true. The other person that's supposed to host with her, she never made it in at all. So maybe not, because I'm a person with a busy schedule. Maybe if your schedule is that busy, maybe you need to give it to somebody else, because what I shared with them tonight, I have young men who I've taught, who are young men on this street now, who will tell me anytime they see me, I don't want to be here. We want to do something different. We need to make sure that we're providing access and opportunities to our young people in our community. And that's not happening when you have leadership that feels inferior to educated people. And I know we have this thing in our community, and it is what it is. We don't survey too much to the educated people, because educated people have been known to get on their high horse, and act very elitist, act like they're better than people. And so I get it, right? And then it's the whole indoctrination piece, right? They go to college and look down on the people in the community that raised them, and look down on where they came from. So I get it, but simultaneously, we need people who are educated enough to make the decisions that need to be made. Because like I said tonight, this is an urgent matter that we have men being productive in our community. All of this development that's going up, it's insane that we don't have more young Black, because I know these young men have license to do the work, but they're not being called to do the work. And on top of that, they had a couple of people there tonight from different locals. And again, these people weren't met with the people who are in charge of it, because they didn't come. They came late. They came without an agenda. So the meeting was like kind of just, I don't want to say it was pointless, but yeah, it was. There was no quorum. One member in the group, and the reason I invited him, I don't know if he has a chance to come on this evening, but I try to work really close with him. His name is George Tillman and Mutai Elamine, because again, my district here where I live, my block association, in order for them, the many things that they did to water us down, even though they will tell you they want block associations, they don't support us. And in fact, they disable us in many ways. And one way that they did that was they redistrict, so that my side of the street is now the
so
west.
district leader basically got to go to the West Ward council.
Okay, so there's two different things going on. As the block association president, my block is redistrict.
Okay.
So my side of the block is the west. And so Mutai is running for the West Ward. And I know that Mutai has been boots to the ground doing the work. And I'm happy that, he's always willing to work with me in my community to help, whenever we need, the help. And this is without him holding a space, right? And so it's the same thing with George Tillman. He happens to be running for Central Ward Councilman. But again, this is somebody who, before I even got involved, was boots to the ground doing the work. And these are the people who I like to work with, because there are a lot of people out here that you'll see when the election time comes, there are going to be so many people, like 50 to 100 people running for office, right? But these people have been absolutely absent. No matter what fight we're fighting, no matter if we're down in City Hall, if we're down in Trenton, if we're at a Black Caucus meeting, I don't care where we are. If we're at a housing meeting, if we're at an education board, these people are MIA until it's time to get a title. So we have too many people, right, that want titles, but when it's time to do the work, I don't see them. And my thing is, I'm going to always work to support the people who I see on the ground 24/7, all year, because this doesn't stop, this doesn't stop, and it doesn't take a break, for an election or whatever. It's not the point. But I'm really proud that these people are running. I really want to see them win, because I know that then we'll have help. Because for all of the people in the city who are partying, who are saying that they don't realize that politics impacts them and they don't do politics, that's the most absurd thing ever. It does. And if you're not going to be participatory in the process, the very least you could do is make sure that you do your duty to vote and put the people in place who's going to give it their best effort. Because let me tell you something. These people who we're up against sometimes in these meetings, these people have pedigree from colleges that are incredible, like like Duke University. These people are like Ivy League schools. They're from Ivy League schools. So you have them sitting at tables, right, with people who would be bartenders in our community. And shout out to the bartenders. I got love for all of y'all. But what I'm saying is that somebody who's being a bartender who is not qualified to talk about policy and the way that funds are being distributed, and is not familiar with the ordinances, and to understand what needs to be done, and to understand if they don't know, to work around people who do know, right? And so that's the contingency of people we have, and that came up tonight, and I don't mean to be long-winded, but again, everything is connected to everything else. And how you do anything is how you do everything. So while we have a mayor who is gallivanting around, trying to look for a higher position and job in the state, when you have failed, right, at the job here in the city, right, nobody's doing anything, because he's made himself the only person who is a micromanager for all things. And so nobody can really work or function without him, because they're not qualified, and he needs people there, for whatever his reasons are. I'm not going to guess, but I can't imagine why you wouldn't put very smart, qualified people around you, right? But that's the case. And so even tonight, this board was appointed. It was, nice people. But just because you're nice don't mean you could do the job. Like, I have people in the community who you would put them next to me and say, oh, wow, I would vote for them over Sheila. Oh, that she doing? Oh, she cursing them out. But it's not about using profanity and talking loud, but doing nothing. A lot of these things require you to put pen to paper.
Politics going on.
Yeah, and when you put pen to paper to cite what policies, ordinances, or laws that stipulate for you to be doing your job and to do what you need to do. So I spent a lot of time studying to make sure when everybody else is doing something else, I'm doing what needs to be done in the wee hours of the morning. I don't even fellowship or congregate with people who are not doing a level of advocacy. That's where I'm at in my life right now. And I just want people to know that, because we've been led astray, right? How Malcolm said, run amok. And even for Joy Reid, I'm gonna stop right here and pass it to you. I'm gonna, let you alley-oop this with Joy Reid being dismissed. There are people who are sitting around things, saying, oh my God, they fight. She needed to go. I have no qualms at all about seeing everyone. She was stoking race issues, right? Where we're dealing with a capitalistic society, we're dealing with a lot of sexual perversion at high levels of government. You understand? This Epstein case, even with the involvement of Diddy, Abercrombie and Fitch, right? So we have some major players that I haven't even named the Diddy's list or the Epstein's list or whoever, that these people have lots of money and lots of influence in who our governmental and political representatives are. So you wonder why, when kids are not reading on level in the 3rd grade, but you're fighting, and I'm talking about specifically Joy Reid, you're fighting to make sure that a LGBT curriculum gets pushed in kindergarten through 3rd grade. So yeah, I don't support her for that reason, and that reason alone. I saw in an interview where she talked about it when she got called to the mat about it. She didn't address it, and she, navigated from it. And as an educator, I just can't respect it, not her, but it.
One of the things that in this for a lot of people that don't know the makeup of how Newark is, and they see, okay, Newark is big city in New Jersey, basically the biggest city in New Jersey outside of Vineland. Vineland's just a bunch of wetlands. But anyway, right? So a person would be on the outside and saying, hold up, Newark has Amiri Baraka's son as the mayor. And most people on the outside would be like, well, hold up, but this was a poet. This was somebody who fought for the liberation of Black people. And this is one of his sons as the mayor. And all 3 of us know the family. All 3 of us know them.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times when you're trying to hold politicians accountable, people may not realize, like, yo, these are your friends. These are people that you went to school with. These are people that families are intertwined. And so it's difficult, not difficult, it's kind of interesting how you see how when you do say something, when somebody's not being treated fairly, equally, somebody's not being treated just, when you say something, then you get put on this quote unquote list, and everybody starts to shun you. So it's like, hold up, what the hell's going on? You mean to tell me, like, I'll say it, like, I know that Mutai dealt with some stuff where he was at DPW, and he never told me personally names. Like, you know him. That's all Mutai said to me. And I was like, okay, you said I know him. And then when I started making some calls, because, I'm not down there, and I realized who it exactly was, like, I was taken aback because we know these people. We ran with these same people, whether in school, the streets, the clubs, everybody hung out together. Everybody did whatever they did together, and it was nobody's a stranger. And to see what's going on down there, where um, it's a poor representation of getting resources. The water is just one issue. You got the homeless factor. You got people starving, and the Muta always mentions about and we on a larger scale, the wealth gap.
Yeah, it's the food insecurity, it's the wealth gap. Yeah, Muta talks a lot about that. So yeah, all of those things together, and none of those things are consistent with the qualifications of a poet, right? Respectfully. And in terms of Amiri Baraka, I would just say, rest in peace. He's definitely a poet who I respect his work. He had revolutionary work. You understand? His poetry was activism in motion. You understand? And so his work also helped us to get the first Black mayor here in the city of Newark, Ken Gibson. So definitely, I would never discredit his work. But I would say about him the same thing I would say about myself. And I don't know if you guys would say it, but I mean, your kids are not always you.
Exactly. And we have that problem not just in North New Jersey, that problem in America where these legacy families, and I'll say it, the kids are shitheads.
Yeah.
The kids are shitheads, they gatekeepers, and they enemies to the black community.
Yeah.
Muta, I know you you give me that look.
Since we on that topic specifically, I'll go straight to a person like Crump, right? So we have Mildred Crump, God bless the dead, who, in my opinion, was a good politician. I from what I know. However, for Lawrence Crump to currently be on that city council is an abomination. For him to currently be sitting at city council president is a further abomination. So what we seeing right now is like, all right, listen, I could have respect for his father. I could have respect for Ras Baraka's father for what he did in his time period. In this time period, what we can blatantly and obviously see is that Ras Baraka is an enemy to the people. I mean, we as a people have seen American politics as our enemy. Black people see and know American politics as our enemy. We know that it's not to be trusted. So what happens when our friends and our brothers and our cousins get elected and get into these positions, we tend to forget that they are working for the machine that wants to eat us. And we lullaby by hoping that a job comes out of it. Like, all right, such and such, he got them jobs on deck. And don't get me wrong, I want all good politicians to use their power, their position to employ and uplift as many people as possible. We know that politics is not an end-all be-all. But when politics is done horribly, it sets us back. It doesn't. Not only does it not uplift us, but it kind of hampers us to a position anchored in failure. And that's what we've been at lately. We just been one dumb debacle after the other, one stupid debacle after the other. As soon as he got in office, he hired the nonprofit NCDC. What was the name of the nonprofit?
I think that's it. NCDC. I think that's it.
And they scammed the city immediately. As soon as he got in office, ECDC scammed the city. And then they turned it over. The same people running that ran ECDC currently runs Invest North. So when we see things like this happening, we got to say, all right. Like I'm not going to fall for the banana and tailpipe anymore. So I know what is based upon what is happening. What's the term they like to use? The Panthers like to use it. Materialism. Something materialism.
Where's Brother Aaron?
It's just our practical reality. I like to assess our practical reality and move off that rather than looking at what the stories of his father or the story of Lawrence Crump's mother or Ronald Rice's son. You get me? So we got these people who got these names, these Sharp James, these juniors and stuff like that. And we got to put them names to rest. Them names don't mean nothing.
The reason why I bring it up, Muta, right, was because when you look at the legacy from Kenneth Gibson, Mayor Gibson, right, and Newark has had the longest running of black mayorship prior than any city in the country. There's been a black mayor since Mayor Gibson to now. So up until this point, you would see what we would call progress. And I don't know, I'm not down there anymore. It's like we're taking a step back. I mean, even when the president, senator of New Jersey, Cory Booker, was the mayor, it appeared to be that it was some progress going on. I don't know. I was in transition then a couple times in and out the city, but now it's like even worse. From the outside looking in, and you guys are boots on the ground, it looks even worse. When you look about, you see people, city contractors, police, people working without a contract. That's just crazy.
Let me interrupt you for a brief second, right? And just to explain why and how it would be getting worse for a person that's on the ground. So when you talk about you have a revolutionary mayor, a quote unquote revolutionary mayor, right? And you look at the opportunities that are available, you would say, all right, you would hope that resources would be going to people that are on the ground. And that's not what happens here. So what happens here is if a person like Sheila Montague is present and available in her community, but she disagrees with me, right? I I restrict her from resources.
Oh,
So we can't as educated adults have a disagreement and come up with a conclusion that's best for the public. So what we must do at that point is we alienate Miss Montague and we call her name when we ostracize her so that hopefully harm comes to her. So let's bring in another spectrum of it. Africa. He's an activist here in Newark. So what you'll do is you'll say so many harmful things about this man until where you hope that somebody else from the community harms him. And this is what we see out of our public officials here.
you causing problems for our mayor. Stuff like this. This the type of rhetoric that goes on. Or you causing problems for the establishment. You don't want to see. You hating on a black man.
That's the type of rhetoric that got my house shot up.
So and the crazy part about it is for a long time I had fell silent, and it was maybe for about maybe like 2-3 years almost. I wouldn't say anything about Ras Baraka publicly, and it was a direct reflection of my elder black women, right? With my elder black women, they like, listen, we love you, but we love him too. And what it looks like when you speak what you speak, it looks like two black men fighting, right? And for a while, I'm like, well, I don't want to turn my eldest stomach by having them see two black men fighting. But we at a time right now where we must realize, and if the motherfucking king got to get knocked off his horse, he got to get knocked off his goddamn horse. That's why this is why it's legal for us to cause an insurrection in America, because if we got a government that is not protecting and is not serving the citizens, it is legal and lawful for the American citizens to overturn them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to say something else too, because it's a level of violence. And I understand people will say, because people have said this to me, Sheila, why do you keep bringing it up? Everybody in this city should have brought up the fact that as an educator, that my house was shot. And the thing was, the reason I know what happened is because I've been an educator here for over 25 years. And this is what came to me. First of all, when the police came, they said, oh, you know why this happened. This is political. I'm like, what? I didn't listen. I've run the gamut in this city of being involved in things. I mean, poetry, basketball, fashion, debate. even activism on a level, like you know. So I've been highly involved. You look at my yearbook in high school, is me. That I'm just a social butterfly type of person. I love people, but it was I didn't want to believe the police at first. But what I did believe is when a community of young people who are gang affiliated came to let me know exactly what happened. And so if it's, you know, not true, why didn't the media report on it? Only RLS reported on it. Only. Now, there's something wrong with this picture. There's something wrong. And you know, I'm gonna just leave it right there. But I also want to just piggyback off something that Muta said earlier about restricting folks. A lot of people don't know. We haven't had this conversation. I don't know who else this has happened to, but during COVID, I had COVID and I had it real bad. It almost took me out. In fact, I had it 3 different times. But that first time I had it was like, whoa, right? I was restricted from the COVID lives that the mayor here in the city was doing. They literally had me blocked from the COVID lives. And like I said, this is not, it's insane. And I'm going to be honest, this is just my opinion. Some things I say are factual, but this is my perception, how I see things. I see him almost like I'm dealing with like a 4th or a 5th grader. And I don't mean this to be disrespect to his manhood, right? But what I'm saying is that I don't ever feel like I'm dealing with an adult man. You know, I had a dad in my house. My grandfather raised me. He raised me not to, you know, raise my voice or like disrespect men in a way. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't understand the disrespect coming from him and his brother. I've never understood it. All my life I've been in Newark and I've seen all the men, not some of the biggest names in this city. They are protectors. You know, when we was coming up here, even if something happened, they had the women and kids, you know, wouldn't be involved in certain things. You understand? It was rules, but you know, it's like it's no rules. I don't understand the level of violence, and violence doesn't just have to be physical. You understand? Like I said, when you block somebody out of a COVID, nobody knew what a COVID was back then. And I'm like, let me find out what's going on. You had me blocked because what? Because I ran against your team for school board, or I don't agree with your philosophies. And it's not about you, right? Because like I said, I'm a debater, like professionally. I've coached debate professionally. It's about disagreeing with a topic, but not each other as people. You understand? And to this day, I just never understood the severity of the animosity that exists. I don't understand it. And as far as the elders go, I'm just going to say this. The elders got a lot going on too. And this is not everybody, right? It's no one size fit all. But I've had elders tell me, well, baby, you got to get some money, Sheila. You know we like you, but you got to get some money. Why do I need to get money for you to use your vote and support for what's in the best interest of the community? I've had seniors support me, and then I don't want to say turn that back, but try to like act like they don't see me so that they could go on them free movie excursions, right, to the movie theater. So they can get free rides, right? And so just to show you a stark contrast, just imagine when they had the bus boycott. And all of those Black people refused to catch the bus, and they needed to catch the bus to their jobs, because their jobs was far. They were walking far on dirt roads, right? Who could have paid all of those people to be participatory in that process? And that's what we're dealing with now. And people don't want to call it out, but we're literally dealing with factions with a factor of liberation. Democracy is a game for free people. It's a free man sport. If we're being censored, if we're being ostracized out, and it's violence, because take Muta, for example, hands on feet to the ground, grassroots, always doing the work, working with kids, pulling from his own pocket, and he got his own family, and none of us are rich, right? But when funds do get sent here by federal government that no oversight is on, he's been doing it already established, right? Already has a group of kids that he's working with, already reaching out to us, me, the Iman, and everybody else in the community who care, right? He doesn't get the money. And it's not about him getting the money. It's about him having the resources to do more help for the kids that he's already helping. But what happens here? They establish, like, this is illegal too, by the way. They establish within a 30-day period, like 30 LLCs, just 30 false businesses just to give them the money. And it just seems like a money laundering scheme because, like, I mean, some of the names, I can't even remember them now, but
Elon Newark.
Yeah, I'm so praying for Doge to come to Newark, New Jersey. I done already wrote 2 letters. I'm about to write 9 more before this week's out. And if I have to, I'm gonna ride to Washington. I already got my little bags to sleep in my car. The seat lets down. I got a little wipe still. Listen, I had enough of this, and that's why I don't go to the city council meetings anymore, because you go there and it's like it falls, whatever you say falls on deaf ears, and because they're used to us doing that. I refuse to be a monkey for your amusement. No, I needed the research to find out, like, what is the problem here? And what I found out in a nutshell is that, Newark, like New Jersey, like the United States, period, is just a microcosm of the laws that we have here in the world. Like, so we could write to the United Nations. Like, there's different people that we can bring these issues in front of. And even though we brought issues in front of the county, the commissioners, and again, in many instances, and I hate to say this, but in many instances, it's very clear and apparent that the governor has even been, involved in what's going on in Newark. I mean, and I'm just being honest, right? I'm not talking about any secrets. The governor stood in front of us and announced that the water was clean and safe to drink. I don't know if anybody else saw that here but me. And he said in the press conference, he said the water is great in Newark. It's clean to drink. And if you don't know that for certain, why would you say that?
One of the things that I mentioned yesterday, and I'm going to keep mentioning it. I mentioned yesterday during the show that I did. And this is for everybody in the chat. During COVID, they had ARPA, American Recovery Act, where Biden and the Democratic Party had millions and millions of dollars and wanted to give it to everybody in America, all the cities, for infrastructure. The Republican Party was very reluctant because they said it's no oversight. It's a major mismanagement of funds. This is the result. Doge is the result of that and some other stuff. We have to understand that, yes, we do watch and understand and advocate on a national perspective, but our local politicians have to be held accountable because they are literally mismanaging money. If money, like Sheila said, was if the water system is the way it is, that's part of infrastructure. That's where I work at every day. Infrastructure is roads, highways, water is the infrastructure of a place, a building, anything. So most people know it's like layman's terms. So
and
I say that you can Google how much.
Doge is not new. I don't know if you already know that. It's just now being used because Trump got in office.
So we got to understand that we got to hold our local elected officials accountable and really look into, you can Google it in your town. I actually was doing some stuff, and it's an organization where I live at, and they tell you how much money they got from ARPA and where it went and how it was spent. It's very transparent. Some places are not transparent. So we need to understand that a lot of these municipalities that's hurting have gotten money and they can't account for it. You just seen the president of Ukraine 2 weeks ago said he don't know where $500 billion went.
That's insane. That's insane.
$500 billion. He don't know where it's went. So people that don't understand the president that we got now said, okay, after this peace deal is over. We want the minerals. Y'all paying us back. All that money that Biden them gave y'all got to pay us back.
Let me ask you a quick question. Did you know that U.S. aid existed before now?
I seen it before, but I never knew it existed.
I never knew it existed. I never knew. And then we are so brainwashed as a collective. They're like, oh my God, these people lost their jobs. Who are these people? Because we have U.S. aid with all of these homeless people living on the street, not getting aid.
Yeah.
No, give me my tax money. You even got reps saying that they don't even want us to get our $5,000. If y'all don't get these people I just can't. Like the fact that somebody.
And for the chat,
I wish I could see the chat. I can't see.
One of the things that everybody in the chat, right, or everybody that watched the replay, I want you guys to understand that a couple of weeks ago, you saw a congresswoman putting on a performance in D.C. The congresswoman that was putting on a performance was LaMonica MacGyver. She is the congresswoman that is the congresswoman of New Jersey, of East Orange, Jersey City, and Newark. She, in turn, represents where Muta and Sheila presently live. So she's putting on this grandstand, we're going to have war on a national stage, but in all actuality, her district that she is the congresswoman of, these are two constituents in her district.
Listen, down on South Orange Avenue, Muta, maybe you can help me. I want to say 140. Is that the building where the seniors are?
Yeah.
South Orange Avenue, Bergen, right there.
No, she's talking about the senior. She's talking about the new community senior building.
New community senior building.
It's like yep.
The bed bugs.
Oh wow.
It's been an issue for years. She has done absolutely nothing.
Central Ward.
No matter what letters they wrote, the only time they saw her was when she sent people there to make sure that they was getting out the vote for her for Congress. It gets better. There were funds, the McKinney-Vento funds that were earmarked to help parents who were displaced, right? Parents didn't get those funds. Where did that money go? There's so many instances, like I said, and the oversight is not being done. So the money just gets sent here. And I'm sorry, I'm of the mindset, are y'all just sending the money to feed the politicians so that they keep us oppressed? I mean, because like, this is just, it just doesn't make sense. And the same thing she got down there, first of all, she didn't even have the petitions to get this spot. There's no way Sheila Montague could have went down there and not had no petitions and still made the ballot. It would not have ever happened, right? So she didn't. So she's there for 5 minutes and she's joining Maxine Waters. And what's the other young lady from Texas, the rep, Muta? I don't know why I keep forgetting her name.
What are you about Jasmine Crockett? What's wrong with you?
Thank you. I don't know why. I just draw a blank for that. It's mental for whatever reason. All three of them.
In her weave.
Well, I ain't laughing at weave because I wear weave myself. And I'm gonna tell you something about me. I don't attack people personally, but she's a woman, so I don't do that. I always attack the issues. And the issue with me, with those three women, is that I feel that those three Black women, LaMonica MacGyver, Jasmine Crockett, and Maxine Waters, they know how to express themselves very eloquently. They know how to enunciate. They know how to say whatever that needs to be said without profanity, but all of them did. And I feel that they were being used. You were representing us in a huge way. People across the nation,
Black Girl Magic,
nationally, watched that press conference, and that's the best that you had. And then they don't, like I said, I'm going to address the issue. They were addressing Trump. Oh, he's a liar. He's a monster. They want our information. Listen, tell me who don't have our information at this point. Please let me know.
You get your information to that app on your phone.
I got people sending me emails for elections to send Idaho. So I'm like, who are these people? I don't even vote for y'all. So everybody has our information. I mean, it's been report after report of breach of information. Like, really? So that's why y'all cursing him out, and you're saying, but the fact of the matter is, these funds were mismanaged, and it was mismanaged under the under the leadership of the Democratic Party. I'm sorry, you can't get around it.
That has always been, you know, a thing, because when we hold the big cities in America, majority of the Democratic leadership are under Democratic leadership, and definitely the urban cities in America. So when you do say that and you do hold them accountable, they'll say to you, "Oh, you using Republican talking points." Well, those damn talking points is true. Y'all mismanage the money. And it's no excuse for time and time again where we see uh, slumlords in North, buildings don't got no heat. It's like repetitive behavior over and over again. The same buildings, the same places, the same stuff.
Well,
And
so the other problem that's not being talked about is the problem of capitalism, right? Because we live in a capitalistic society, but the thing for capitalism to live, people have to get exploited. And so we happen to be the people who are getting exploited, right? But at the same time, you got people who's supposed to be repping for us, so who's supposed to have our voice, right? Like the Sotomayors, of the Hispanic community, and just other people of other communities are able to have a voice for their community. But when it comes to us, it's like, you're doing something bad by trying to support, the needs of Black people. It's like almost taboo to do. And so our representatives don't even represent us. You understand? Our representatives, it's like they would get in trouble.
represent the bourgeoisie,
Right?
bourgeoisie Negroes.
And they love to talk about the HBCUs. He's taking down the HBCU. I have never seen anybody from an HBCU or from a fraternity or sorority stand on the front lines with me, Mutai, or nobody else for any of the many issues that we've been fighting over the last decade. And in fact, I've seen them when a person does get in trouble under their whichever fraternity or sorority, whatever, HBCU, I see that they turn their back on them.
In the words of Nina Turner, hello, somebody.
Okay, so this is what I'm looking at, seeing, not going by hearsay or conjecture or anything like that, and that doesn't bode well for me, right? But then you got it from, we talk about the Boule a lot. Now I want to bring another part in here, because the people on the ground, they living wrong too, okay? Because they don't want to get involved with nothing unless they're getting a payday out of it. I don't care if it's somebody on the street. If they want, you ask them to pass out flyers, they want to get paid for it, right? And so there has been in past elections influx of money that has come in, right? And so they would, people would generally, like, I'll take Cory Booker for example, disrespect him, say whatever they wanted to say to him. I've often seen Ron Rice Jr. get disrespected too. I just happened to be there, like, wow, like, and the thing is that sometimes people feel that they can do that to me, and I'm like, no, you won't, because the slumlords who get rich off being slumlords and buying the property and selling it for like crazy prices that people can't even afford. Our young people can't even come out of college or come out of high school and get their own place, right? Even with a job, they can't afford an apartment here in Newark. The native Newarkers are getting pushed out of Newark. So when you see those situations, and it's like, okay, I can't even get nobody to help me because they need to get paid. They need to get paid. The media is not going to help with what I'm trying to say to the people. And I don't know if it's because each of them are Jewish descent. I don't know. But that is the case. That is the common denominator. And those are facts, right? And so if they're not paying I certainly am not going to pay to advocate. I'm paying the cost with my life, putting my life on the line. I'm paying the cost with the jobs that I work hard to earn to be able to sacrifice my financial, comfortability, in life, because I'm fighting for a people. I'm fighting for something I'm passionate about that I believe in. And I'm going to be real small right here and say, I sacrifice. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, this is some, but I really wanted this go to the Beyonce concert when it happened. I saw the little girl doing her dance. I'm a human being. I'm like, oh, look at little Blue Ivy. I'm like, oh my God, I want to go. But I couldn't go. And that's not the first thing I couldn't go to. I work hard all my life. I work really hard. I should be able to, after 50 years old, do some things. I can raise my kids for myself. But I'm in this situation where I'm fighting for people, and the people think it's okay sometimes to be disrespectful to me. And so what I do is, because I got the bigger issue in mind, right? I will block them off my social media, and they'll say like, oh, well, you're running. No, I'm not running. I'm protecting my peace, because I know the fight that I'm fighting is not with y'all. And I'm not going to waste my time fighting with y'all, because see, if I was a candidate like Cory Booker, and I'm saying his name, I'm not talking about him, but if I was a candidate like Cory Booker, who had the financial backing, who didn't worry about how mortgage was going to get paid, and how my car note, and how my PSE&G, and how the gas, and how I was going to eat every day. If I didn't have those worries, then yeah, I have a little bit more patience to let people curse me out a little bit more, maybe. But nah, I got too much on the line. No. I have to hoard my energy to fight those battles that need to be fought, that I don't see us in the rooms for. And I don't see us in the rooms for the environmental issues.
And to this point, Sheila, right? This should be some encouragement. When I asked about you, I didn't always just ask Muta. I asked a couple people, and this is a good thing that they talking about you. Nobody said you was lying.
Bam. I love that. Thank you for sharing. And that's the truth. They be mad at me, but I don't be lying.
Say whatever they want. Nobody said you was lying.
They can't say. Listen, I get nothing. And at the end of the day, I'm Black first. And a lot of people don't really understand the scope of that, because it's like, oh, well, we're supposed to be Democrats. How could you? No, I'm supposed to be for right, no matter who's telling it. And if we were Democrats and something shifted or pivoted, why would I still keep going like I don't know what I know? I think it was Dick Gregory that says, once you put on those shades and you take them off, or do whichever one he said, and you see what you see, you can't unsee it.
The picture. The universe.
I can't unsee that when I run for office, right? The media that happens to be controlled locally by Jewish descent people, all three, right? The main ones. Well, I'm not gonna say the main ones, but the three local ones that are always reporting continuously. I'm not gonna act like I don't see that you minimized my hard work to say, oh, Sheila Montague, and coin me as an activist. I'm not an activist, I'm an advocate. And not only that, I'm a college educated woman, right? I have several degrees. I have my own house that I purchased when I was 20 something years old. And I have all of this on the backs of going to college and not even having nowhere to stay, being homeless, not knowing my biological birth parents. You're not gonna peg me. Even in national news, they had me like, oh, she keeps losing. No, I keep being in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I keep fighting for my people. If you want to say that, then you can say that we've been losing for 400 years. No, we're making progress. You understand? So we can't allow.
They lose one round, they get compromised. Some people get
one round, they getting compromised.
Next thing you know, they working for the Joker. They was just beefing. You be like,
let me tell you, the pressure is real, because every time I've lost my job, I've had an overabundance of invites to work at a charter school, and I've turned them down, because how I came in this game, I came as an education advocate, and I find it very insulting I find it extremely offensive that even right now, I could go to my emails right now. And even at one time, they asked me if I wanted my own charter school. Listen, it's not about my personal gain. I'm not a person of, you know, I tell you this, I got a new boyfriend, right? I got to talk about him a little bit.
Okay, y'all.
These women think it's about, you know, I've had some of my friends say, oh, well, he not making this kind of, well, what kind of money is he making? You know, I've had that question. Well, what is he buying you? Let me tell you, that man invests in me mentally. You understand what I'm saying? He's growing me as a woman. So things that money can't buy. And I think we've missed the boat being so encompassed in this space of capitalism that everything is defined by the money that a politician can give you, a donor can give you, a man can give you. And that's the least of what our kings have to give us. You understand? Our men are out here busting their butt, creating a world. When you think about a construction worker, right? Men, women will say, "Oh no, I need a man with 6 figures." These men are creating the world that we live in with their bare hands. How could you disrespect that? But in the society that we live in, right? We have lost track of what the Black man is to our society so much to the point that we either inadvertently or not are being used as tools to destroy our men, whether it's in child support situations. And I'm not saying all men shouldn't be on child support, but there are a lot of men that don't belong on child support. It's just because of pettiness. Yada yada. We're not respecting our men. They're using us even in this way. And this needs to be highlighted. In the jail systems, when our men are going to jail, we have predominantly female COs now. So now you're flipping this script. Now you have women telling men what to do like they're children, and they're not, they're men. You understand? It's the same thing in the school districts. Most of the teachers are predominantly women. So they're telling our young men, this is what you need to do. How do you tell a man how to be a man if you've never been a man?
Hey, Muta.
Yes, sir.
Your brother Nico told me to ask you, are you related to the Blanfords?
No, not to my knowledge. I have a very topped up and tattered family history, so it could be, but to my knowledge, no. How you feeling, Nico? We all related. We all related. We all brothers and sisters.
You better say that. I know that's right. That's right.
Wow, this has been a very, very interesting show, and one of the things that, I like to be transparent, I guess, to say that word. I hate to really use the word, but it's funny with that when Sheila called me. I'm like, okay, it's a little late. I started watching something on TV, but her energy and her passion was like, she was like, no, we got to do it now. So, you know, I ain't gonna say advise. I had told Sheila before, like, yo, this is about you. This is about putting her advocacy out there and understanding, like, this ain't personal. These two people, Muta and Sheila, along with a lot of other people, not just in North, but all across everything. As Chef C always says, every knee will bow to the grass. Grassroots advocacy is never going nowhere. It's always going to be the linchpin of the Black community.
So let me make a comment. Hey, Sheila, so everybody's up in arms now that the white guy from Warren County came up in here from the commission that came to the city council meeting. Everybody, and it's like, yo, well, it's crazy because we can articulate something in an elegant way, right? But you can bring anybody from any other place else to come and say the same thing, and all of a sudden we got a whole bunch of fanfare oh, did you hear that? And all types of woo. And it's like,
Well, Sheila, you ever go to Sonic?
Oh, I don't
You ever
eat.
go? You ever go to the hospital and you eat the ice, right? You eat ice, Sheila? You ever eat ice? All right. Muta, to say what you say, you know why ice is colder, baby. So they had to get the dude from Warren. They had to get the dude to come down the hill and say what the Negroes been saying for years, just so people can hear it. And it's sad because that literally happens everywhere. Somebody from
I don't understand us. I really don't. I really don't. And I'm not saying names because, like I said, I don't talk about people. I talk about, situations that impact us politically. And one of the young ladies, consistently says, we had a chance to do a recall. We had a chance to do a recall. No, you had a chance to vote for another mayor that was qualified. You did. And why didn't you? And there were people who attempted to make the ballot and didn't. I'm here for the people. You act like I'm just going to go in there and just ignore the whole city. No, I'm doing this for the city. But they will have every reason in the world why they don't want to support me. I don't know what it is. And it's just what you said. I'm saying I see people steal my ideas, steal my platform, try to talk about it, but you can't do it because it wasn't yours. And it's like, I don't understand. I don't understand. I'll see girls, they will mimic a hairstyle. They will mimic the fashion things, which is cool. But why won't you mimic the passion that I have for the community and help me help these kids? Help me help these families. And there's such the level of individualism. It's like, if it's just me and mine, it's me and mine. And that's what happens with kids with entitlement. And I have that in my family. My kids didn't struggle like I struggled. I grew up with rats, not mice, rats in the house like they was freaking pets. Michael Jackson was singing to Ben. I was singing to Ben's uncle and his daddy because them was some big, okay. That's the house I grew up in. And I never disrespected my mother. It was time we was cold. We had coats on the bed. It was time that we ate nothing but whatever the Reverend gave us from 416 on Urban Turner, whether it was that bread, that government cheese, and loved it. Love my mama. I have given my kids, and I hear a lot of people saying this, everything I could possibly give it. I never ran out of tissue as an adult. We never ran out of food. You never not had lights. You never experienced no hardship. And I'm telling you, and it's much like the legacy leadership that we have here. And because it's the same situation, their parents struggle, right, to get leadership here in the city of Newark. And the kids didn't feel that struggle. So they act different. Even if they do care, it's just not the same passion, right? It's seeing people do well and make it. And we just got to do better, right? And it's hard for the people on the ground to say, Sheila, I want to fight with you, because if they call my job and take my job, I know that they will take people's job. People are afraid to go into the school because the technology is such with cameras. You can literally be a criminal if you got a ticket, but you don't have enough money to pay for your ticket. And now you got a warrant out for your arrest. You're a criminal at that point. I can't even go to school to check on my kids. I don't know what new technology, new thing they're doing. They come and snatch me up. And you understand, I lost my job. I'm lost the way I'm taking care. So people are literally living under the radar. And I want to say something else real quick tonight. Please don't think that this narrative about 13% of the nation of America is Black people. We are way more than that. We have to be. When you look at the numbers, they don't make sense. If you go to suburban areas, you have a house here, and you have a whole bunch of land, and it's another house, and maybe there's 2 or 3 people living in this house. On all of these blocks in urban communities, just take one little block. You got house after house after house sitting on top of each other. You got multiple families in that one house. Those numbers don't match up. It is more of us. And I'm telling you, pay attention to what Trump is doing when he's talking about sovereignty. A lot of our people, I guarantee 90% of the people don't even know what that means. When he's saying that, no, these Native Americans, no, it's the indigenous people, it's us. Pay attention to when they're talking about time travel and how Elon Musk's father traveled into the future. They know it's our time. They know what's about to go down. It's unstoppable. You understand? It's unstoppable. And what's going to happen is they have to prepare for that. So when you hear about them not going to choose Black people where they've always went to choose them to be in the military, why don't they want Black people in the military? Could it be that they're getting ready to go to war against us? They're handling it differently, perhaps. I'm just asking questions. How the other administration was handling, they was displacing us or replacing us with Mexicans so that they would be on our land, perhaps. I'm asking the questions. So when we find out it's our land, you have no choice but to give it to us because we have treaties that were disrespected. That could be the very reason why we don't get reparations. Evictions are against the law. If I could get 5 people more to come out to the meetings I have every Saturday at 8 o'clock, it would be like at least 50% less people getting evicted. We stopped somebody from getting evicted today. The guy came in, took his mother's house from him, went in and started taking the boiler and stuff, put it on the truck. After we did what we did, they had to put that shit back. And mind you, the cops usually will tell you, oh, we don't involve ourselves in matters like that because it's a civil matter. They made them put it back. You understand? When you know your rights to stand on your rights, your unalienable rights trump the Constitution. But if you don't know, it's nothing you can do. Like sometimes I'll be wondering, like, should I just put like a all call and get a group of white people to just do and talk about the things I could do and talk about? Is that what I need to do to save my people? Because I don't work hard for this. And then people will look at me and be jealous. Like, oh, she thinks she know everything. I don't know everything, but I know a whole hell of a lot. I know when to shut up my mouth when I'm around people who know more and not compete. I know to make sure that I got a bunch of mentorship that's 70 and above. And Mutai does the same thing because we share some of the same mentors, people who love our community, and they teach us. They have us reading books and materials and things so that we know how to help the community. And matter of fact, one of them always calls me an elder in training. I love that term, right? Because I am. And so people can't get the information if they relying on gossip. Oh, she thinks she's cute. I do think I'm cute. What that got to do with the hard work I put in? Why you need me to feel like I'm ugly? I don't. I have confidence in myself and my abilities to do what I could do. My ability to be strong in the face of adversity. And you ain't it. No Black people is my enemy. None. Not even Raz. Like I said, I don't like the things that he's doing. And I really hope that turns around. But just him being Black and I'm being Black, I can't ever hate him. I just don't have it in me to do. But I strongly, I done gave it 3 syllables, not strongly, but strongly disapprove in the leadership. I disapprove in how he ostracizes people who don't share in his philosophies. I strongly disagree with the fact that since he's been in office, we haven't had a Black History Day parade, and that was something that Newark was big on. It was something our kids counted on. I'm strongly opposed to the way that when he got in office, it became all about him and not pushing the Homicide Act to make sure that kids, whether they're Black, white, or Hispanic, learn about African-American history, because that history is American history. And we fought to get the schools back into local control so that could happen. And then he stopped us from getting, not only stopped the program, I'm gonna talk about myself, from getting on the board to help make sure that happened. But damn, you stopped me from getting a teaching job here too. What is your agenda? Is your agenda our agenda? And so I'm totally against what he's doing, overall. I stand on that. And, and like I said, at the end of the day, I just have a lot of information, a lot of access to networking that I really can't get it out to the people because they sit and they gossip. And the sad part about it, what I've learned, it's not strangers that are bad mouthing me. It's the people who would be my friends, the people who I've had in my home, people who I've broke bread with out of jealousy, right? Because I never did anything to hurt them, right? So that's what it's got to be. You think I'm a little farther ahead. Like somebody said to me tonight, and I'm not gonna say, somebody who does work in the community, I've been doing this for 30 years. Every time she sees me, she says that. I don't see the fruit of your labor. So you should be happy that I'm on board, not trying to compete with me for who been here longer. I ain't trying to compete with you. I'm
just placing the trophy. You're never going to see the fruit of your labor when you're advocate for the grass. It's impossible.
Bruh.
You're never going to see it. You're never going to see it.
And but that is the problem. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. Listen, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. Because if you've done your work in this community for years, you deserve
flowers. But you're never going to see the return of your investment. That's not going to happen. They're going to.
And you can't keep telling people that when you got a person here, several people advocating for you, and it's us that's coming up with the reasons why not support us. And they love to talk about racism. It's Black History Month. They love, the white folks don't like us. We don't like each other.
What's funny is that I remember a time recently when he was on city council and he was still working at Central. I remember they would come to all the grassroots guys and say, yo, we're going to try to get him elected. He's the prodigal son and this, that, and the third. And it's just funny how the princess.
I don't know if you know, Quentin, do you realize I worked on this campaign?
I know you said something about it before, but I didn't know if you could ever get into it on the show.
Yeah, I worked on this campaign, and at the time, I'm going to be honest, I was conflicted for different reasons between him and Shavar, but I felt like he had worked. Huh?
She said Rob the Rock is pure evil. Whoa.
Well, whoever said it, they're not lying, because that's what his actions has shown. But very black-hearted. But
peace and blessings, Munera.
Yeah, very black-hearted. But I will say that even on the day of the election, myself, because I didn't see that campaign out to the end for different reasons. But on the day of the election, I was conflicted between him and Shavar. And the reason why, again, this is just my opinion, I just found both of them, in knowing them personally, to be very immature. And and people might not remember, but I launched a campaign with them too, and Elmo. I said we need to vote for Elmo before we vote for, and it wasn't out of disrespect for them, because there's different things that I like. I like the fact that Shavar is a family man, right? I'm a woman that's been married for 20 years. I know men who are married and who believe in commitments. It says something about their leadership, that they don't run. They are loyal, they believe in family and community, and that says something. And it might not always be the case, but oftentimes, it is more often than not. But like I said, there was activism that I watched Rise do in the community as he went from block to block when our children were falling to violence in the community. And so those things spoke to me, right? My son was a victim of violence, not once, twice, but 3 different times. So, like I said, I made the choice to vote for him. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't have voted for Shavar on the basis of he was just at the time pro-charter school. And if you're pro-charter, it was never about education reform. It was about labor reform. So we fought to have unions. 267 Black people died for us to have unions. So I'm never going to be anti-union. So that's why I couldn't support him. But I really, really liked him as a person. I still like him and respect him as a person. But I don't care. I can like you as a teacher and still not put my kids in your classroom. Like, I don't play when it comes to my people, and my people is my business. I don't mix business with pleasure. Like I said, I could like Muta, but if I feel like he's not going to do right for the people, I won't support him, and I won't have a problem with telling him that. And if he can't be mature enough to understand that, well, there's nothing I can do, But that's my stance on that.
Let me so before we close out at any time, I want to take this time to say, all right, while we're seeing what's going on in America, And we see that everybody is vying for their piece of the pie collectively. Although we haven't seen any collective movements in our community that is, admirable. We've seen the start of things, but right now could be the most. I got so much hope for this time and period right now.
Yeah.
It's so much like this is a time, like if you ain't never believed in reparations before, seeing all these aids that get applied to other countries, seeing all this wasteful spending, you gotta throw away the old notion that you had in your head that reparations is impossible. So now
everything belongs to us, though, Mutai. You got to understand that all of this. When they took the land, there were treaties that were made. This is ours, and those treaties said that we could live here for free, that we could travel, that we don't need a license.
Absolutely.
You know how many people got tickets, car tickets? People don't went to jail for that, and that's totally illegal. But if you don't know, and so that's why I have my meetings on Saturday so that we can talk about these things. But
Saturday, what is it on Saturday, Sheila?
On Saturdays we have a community meeting at 814 Clinton Avenue, where I have some of the most brilliant men, around with information that can really change the lives of a lot of people here. And it's about coming together, getting the information, making sure that we're not displaced out of our homes.
I apologize. You switched it from Thursday though?
What's Thursday? Oh, I think we had it on one Thursday, but no, we always meet on Saturday at 8.
Okay. All right.
So I do a book club too. The Sage Society. But that's a whole different thing. And even with that, people have got to read. You got so many people on social media they have taken on the Democratic talking points for who runs the Democrats, and it's not us. Even though it's not us. So they take on the talking points because they're constantly watching TV. We have to reprogram ourselves, right? And it means turning off the television. It's a lie, right? It means that you can't get all your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding off a 2-minute TikTok.
Can you repeat that one more time? Because I don't think they could grasp what you just said. I think they need to hear that in slow motion about they taking on the points of somebody who ain't. Just run that back.
Because when we were having the conversations when he first got in office, and you see him talking about the Native Americans, he's stripping them of anything that they were saying that they had here. He said, no, it's the indigenous people, it's us. He was saying Black people haven't gotten their due for what. So like I said, people need to just chill out. First of all, it's not our fight. And let's see what he does. He's been in there for 10 minutes. But people just don't understand. Like, people got to educate themselves. You cannot educate yourself in a space, right, where everything is controlled by the Jews. I mean, I hate to say it because you just bang that. You be scared to say the Jews. You scared to say it. I want to be anti-Semitic. So, when I
we call them GCPs. God's chosen. They call them GCPs. But listen, you guys in the chat, we're gonna close out. We'll be back probably in 2 weeks, and we'll have another discussion, episode 3. You two don't hang up because I got something I want to share with y'all.
Okay.
And everybody in chat, we appreciate you guys joining us.
Before you get off, Sirota Ladina and Abtalehim, Gaido Magdubi Alehim. I want you to tell me now. I want Q to tell me what I just said. Gaido Magdubi Alehim. Gaido Magdubi Alehim.
Not the path that has gone astray.
So if we talking about anti-Semitic, the Quran, every Muslim that prays has to say Gairu Magdubi Alayhim in every single rakat. And this refers directly to the Jews.
Okay.
Direct.
We're gonna get what's ours. We
No.
will rise. Know
Let's
that.
stay on. Remember, everybody in the chat, remember, like, share, subscribe. Best way to support the channel is to actually support the channel. Until next time, take care.